Rebecca Livetin හඳුන්වා දෙන magical moments.
What's happening around the world and what's happening here at home. A very good evening to and welcome to Weekend Primetime News. I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
President visits Ambevela dairy farm. 5 years on, Colombo protests demand justice for Easter Sunday attacks. 8 important points were brought to the attention of the CID. Father Cyril Gamini reveals.
මේවා ගැන වැඩිදුර විමර්ශන සිදු කළොත් ඒකම ඇති පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරයේ සැබෑව සත්‍ය පිළිබඳව කරුණු හරියට හොයාගන්න.
Justice cannot be concealed, a statement from the civil society.
නිසා විශ්වාස කරනවා මේ දේශපාලන බලාධිකාරිය මේ කුමන්ත්‍රණයට සම්බන්ධ වෙච්ච මේ අපරාධය කරපු අපරාධය මෙහෙයු සියලු දෙනා රැක්ක නිසකයින්ම ඔවුන්ට දඬුවම් නම් ලැබෙනවායි.
Steps are being taken to deliver justice for Easter Sunday attacks, police assure.
ගරු නීතිපතිතුමා ඒ සම්බන්ධව අවශ්‍ය උපදෙස් ලබා දෙනවා. මේ හුදකලාව තනියෙන් පොලිසියට අවශ්‍ය විදිහට කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන් විමර්ශනයක් නෙවෙයි.
Newsfirst celebrates Sinhala and Tamil New Year with the people.
Starting off with news here at home, President Ranil Wickremesinghe visited the Ambevela dairy farm this morning to assess its advancement.
During his visit, President Ranil Wickremesinghe reviewed the progress of the new development initiatives and inspected the premises where the dairy cows are kept. Afterwards, President Ranil Wickremesinghe engaged in a brief conversation with the staff, assessing the incremental growth achieved in Ambevela farm and its contribution to the national economy. He underscored the importance of implementing various tourism promotion programs for tourists visiting the farm. President Ranil Wickremesinghe also interacted with local and foreign tourists who visited the farm over the weekend, engaging in friendly conversations and inquiring about their experience.
5 years ago, Sri Lanka was shaken by the Easter Sunday attacks. Tomorrow marks that solemn anniversary. While time has passed, the wounds remain unhealed for those who lost loved ones, who were injured or were otherwise affected. The fight for justice continues with protests like the one held today opposite the Fort railway station demanding accountability.
The protest was organized by a group of civil society activists. During the protest, a petition was also signed.
හෙට දවස වෙද්දී පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය සිද්ධ වෙලා වසර 5ක් ගත වෙනවා. වසර 5ක් ගත වෙලා
5 years will have passed tomorrow since these Sunday attacks. Justice is yet to be served. We would like to ask the Attorney General's Department, CID and TIU, where are the arrests? What's the hold-up? They think they can use the tragedy for votes in the next election. We, the people of Sri Lanka, say this, that this isn't over. We'll keep these protests going in every village, every city, until justice is served.
අපි මේ විරෝධතාවය අකණ්ඩව කරගෙන යනවා කියන පණිවිඩය අපි අද
Reverend Father Cyril Gamini Fernando visited the Criminal Investigation Department yesterday morning to provide a statement regarding the Easter Sunday attacks. He later expressed concern that the CID may be facing limitations in investigating the Easter Sunday attacks. This issue was raised during a police media briefing held today.
පියතුමා ප්‍රකාශ කළ දේ තමයි මේ පොලිසිය ඉතින් සාධාරණීෂ්ඨ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. කොච්චර ඇවිල්ලා කිව්වත් මේක වැඩක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියන චෝදනාව. ඇත්තට මේක එහෙමද?
පොලිසිය වශයෙන් අපිට අනාවරණය වෙලා තියෙන ඒ සියලු කාරණා සම්බන්ධව
The Sri Lanka Police Department has strived to address all matters brought to our attention concerning these Sunday attacks. We understand that concerns have been raised regarding the pace and scope of the investigation. However, it's important to understand that police investigations are not conducted in isolation. The Attorney General's office plays a crucial role in providing legal guidance throughout the investigation process. We prioritize all complaints received, both recent and historical, and conduct thorough investigations based on the evidence presented.
ඉතිහාසයේ පෙර ලැබුණු පැමිණිලි සම්බන්ධවත් ඒ ආකාරයෙන් කටයුතු කරලා තියෙනවා.
Reverend Father Cyril Gamini also shared some revelations with the CID. Let's have a look at it now.
The protest was organized by a group of civil society activists. During the protest, a petition was also signed.
හෙට දවස වෙද්දී පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය සිද්ධ වෙලා වසර 5ක් ගත වෙනවා. වසර 5ක් ගත වෙලා
5 years will have passed tomorrow since these Sunday attacks. Justice is yet to be served. We would like to ask the Attorney General's Department, CID and TIU, where are the arrests? What's the hold-up? They think they can use the tragedy for votes in the next election. We, the people of Sri Lanka, say this, that this isn't over. We'll keep these protests going in every village, every city, until justice is served.
අපි මේ විරෝධතාවය අඛණ්ඩව කරගෙන යනවා කියන පණිවිඩය අපි අද මේ විදිහට දෙනවා.
Speaking at a media briefing, Reverend Father Cyril Gamini Fernando revealed 8 points that were brought to the attention of the CID.
2018 නොවැම්බර් මාසේ 30 වෙනිදා වවුනතිව් නගරයේදී
On the 30th of November 2018, 2 police officers were murdered in Vaunathiu. Intelligence officers had notified retired DIG Ravi Senviratna that a jacket worn by bikers was found in the scene of the crime. There is a question of who used the IP address that foreign intelligence services identified to have had close contact with Zaharan. The third point is, what was the motive behind providing false evidence and misleading investigative authorities saying that the LTTE was behind the police officer's murder in Vaunathiu? The fourth point is Abdul Asif Jamil, who carried out the suicide bombing in the Tropical Inn restaurant in Devala, gets a phone call on his cell phone when he is preparing for the suicide bombing in Taj Samudra Hotel. It is after the call he refrained from carrying out the bombing and left the hotel. They talk about Abu Hind, who is superior to Zaharan, because he is known as someone who instructed Zaharan over the phone. He is known under the alias Abu Hind. This fact is notified even in Zaharan's wife Hadia's statements. It is important to uncover the real identity of Abu Hind. These 8 facts were presented to the CID yesterday. Now it is up to the CID to conduct investigations accordingly. If they follow up on these facts, that alone is enough to uncover the truth behind the Easter Sunday attacks.
මේවා ගැන වැඩිදුර විමර්ශන සිදු කළොත් ඒකම ඇති පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරයේ සැබෑව සත්‍ය පිළිබඳව කරුණු හරිහැටි හොයාගන්න.
The delay in delivering justice to the victims of the Easter Sunday attacks was emphasized at a media briefing today.
දන්නවා ජනාධිපති කමිසමට අනියුක්ත කරලා හිටියා විමර්ශන ඒකකයක් පොලිසිය. එතකොට ඒ අය කටුත්
We understand that a special police investigative unit was attached to the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. They have recorded approximately 1,588 statements. However, only 457 of those statements have been forwarded to the Presidential Commission of Inquiry for evidence gathering. There has been no mention of the remaining 1,131 statements. It's been 5 years. The current head of state held the position of Prime Minister at the time of the attacks. The IGP was previously the DIG in charge of the Katua Pite division. The Director of State Intelligence Service, Nilantha Jayawardena, was the second in command of police administration. And the current head of State Intelligence, Suresh Saleh, served as the Director of Army Intelligence until late 2016. How can we expect a fair investigation? Everyone in these top positions have pending cases against them. What are they going to do? What investigations can we expect from them?
මේ මහපොළොව මත මොරගසන ඒ මියවුගිය උන්ගේ ලේ අනිවාර්ය
We will not allow those responsible for the Easter Sunday attacks to go free. We believe in a higher power and universal forces that will ensure the perpetrators eventually face their punishment. We curse them, but true justice comes from a higher authority. Where are the political figures who aided and abetted this conspiracy and financially supported the National Tawhid Jamaat? Whether it's the perpetrators behind the Easter Sunday attacks, the attack on the Temple of the Truth, or those who conspire to fuel dissent and racism, they all seem to stick together. The Supreme Court has named some individuals responsible for the country's economic downfall. It's a disgrace that those who couldn't deliver justice for the 273 lives lost and the over 500 injured in the Easter Sunday attacks are now focusing on minor issues like regulating street vendors. What is the meaning of this? What kind of a country is this?
An overnight procession demanding justice for the victims of the Easter Sunday attacks began this afternoon opposite the St. Anthony Shrine in Kochikade. The procession is being held to mark 5 years since the Easter Sunday attacks. Earlier today, a service was held at the St. Anthony Shrine in Kochikade. The procession that began at the St. Anthony Shrine in Kochikade will head to Modara, Wattala, Jaila and will finally conclude at St. Sebastian's Church in Katuwapitiya.
Newsfirst with the people.
On tonight's edition of the Newsfirst Finance Report, we have news coming in from the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank Group spring meetings.
The Newsfirst Finance Report.
Sri Lanka discusses balancing debt, development and climate.
State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe shared his insights at the Paris Pact for People and the Planet discussion representing Sri Lanka during the International Monetary Fund and World Bank Group spring meetings. He emphasized the pressure on many emerging and frontier market economies in terms of maintaining debt sustainability and in terms of financing long-term development and sustainability needs. He also appreciated IMF reforms aiming to support vulnerable middle-income countries in accessing low-cost, long-term financing amidst financial constraints. The State Minister also highlighted developing nations' initiatives to address climate change.
Paris Club reassures continued support for Sri Lanka.
State Minister Shehan Semasinghe also met with the co-chairman of the Paris Club and Assistant Secretary for Multilateral Affairs, Trade and Development Policies Department, William Roos, on the sidelines of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank Group spring meetings. Posting on X, State Minister Shehan Semasinghe said the discussions focused on the progress of negotiations with the Official Creditor Committee as well as with other stakeholders. He said Paris Club reassured the continued support for Sri Lanka to achieve debt sustainability.
US urges Sri Lanka to continue commendable reforms.
The United States has urged Sri Lanka to continue the commendable reforms undertaken over the past 2 years by the government. USAID Deputy Assistant Administrator of the Bureau for Asia, Anjali Kaur, made this statement during talks with the State Minister Shehan Semasinghe. Posting on X, he said, quote, appreciated the multi-pronged assistance provided by USAID to Sri Lanka for various development activities. Our discussions also focused on further strengthening collaboration, including ongoing governance reforms, unquote.
Sri Lanka secures project financing from OPEC Fund.
The OPEC Fund for International Development has decided to assist Sri Lanka through project-based financing. The OPEC Fund for International Development is an intergovernmental development finance institution established in 1976 by the member states of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Posting on X, State Minister Shehan Semasinghe said the president of the OPEC Fund, Abdul Hamid Al Khalifa, was appreciative of the ongoing economic reforms and good practices adopted by the government of Sri Lanka.
The Newsfirst Finance Report.
The 19-year-old Sri Lankan accused of the mass killing of a Sri Lankan family in Ottawa has opted not to pursue bail.
Febrio de Zoysa, the 19-year-old Sri Lankan accused of the mass killing of a Sri Lankan family in Ottawa, has opted not to pursue bail, according to his lawyer. Febrio was apprehended and charged in early March with 6 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder after authorities discovered deceased family members in a townhouse located in Ottawa, Canada. Currently held in custody, Febrio de Zoysa has conveyed through his legal representative, Evan Little, that he does not intend to seek bail at this juncture. Having been studying in Canada as an international student, Febrio de Souza is scheduled to appear in court next week, during which lawyers anticipate arranging a date for a preliminary hearing in the case. 5 members of Dhanushka Wickramasinghe's family were killed at their home in Ottawa. Among the dead were Wickramasinghe's wife, 35-year-old Darshini Kanayakar, and their 4 children, 7-year-old Inuka Wickramasinghe, 4-year-old Ashwini Wickramasinghe, 3-year-old Ranaya Wickramasinghe and 2.5-year-old Kelly Wickramasinghe. Police also found the body of 40-year-old Amarakun Muniansalage Gamini Amarakun, an acquaintance who was living with the family.
Meanwhile, the final rites of late Dr. A.T. Ariyaratne were held with state honours at the Independence Square in Colombo this evening. Founder of the Sarvodaya Shramadana movement, Dr. A.T. Ariyaratne passed away on April 16th while receiving treatment at a private hospital in Colombo. He was 92 years of age at the time of his demise. Born on the 5th of November 1931 in Unawatuna, Galle, A.T. Ariyaratne was educated in Mahinda College, Galle. He is also a proud alumnus of the University of Sri Jayawardenepura. The Sarvodaya movement, founded by him in 1958 on a robust strategy, has gained much adulation of masses over the years. His profound contribution to Sri Lanka and its people in developing the lives of the masses serves and will continue to serve as a prime example to many. The Ramon Magsaysay Award for Community Leadership, Bowden Award for International Development and the Mahatma Gandhi Peace Prize are only a handful of international accolades the late Dr. A.T. Ariyaratne was awarded for his spiritually based people development approach and distinguished service to the nation. He was conferred with the Sri Lak Abhimanya Award, Sri Lanka's highest civil honour, in 2007. The late Dr. A.T. Ariyaratne's mortal remains were placed at the Sarvodaya headquarters in Moratuwa from the 17th of April till 1 p.m. today for the public to pay their last respects. The funeral rites commenced at 10 this morning, with multi-religious observances being held. Thereafter, the cortege, followed by a special vehicular procession, travelled from the Sarvodaya headquarters to the Independence Square with full state honours. The cremation of Dr. A.T. Ariyaratne, a true Sri Lankan icon, took place at the premises of the Independence Square in Colombo, amidst the sorrowful tears of many present at the occasion, including the Mahasangha, representatives of NGOs and relatives of Dr. Ariyaratne. The Sri Lankan ambassador to Israel said that about 70% of Sri Lankans residing there work safely from home.
The Sri Lankan ambassador to Israel said that about 70% of Sri Lankans residing there work safely from home. He said that about 15% work in agriculture, while the remainder in construction jobs. Despite reports of occasional shelling near the Lebanese border, over 150,000 residents have been temporarily evacuated, including some Sri Lankans. The Sri Lankan embassy is constantly monitoring the situation of Sri Lankan residents and urges anyone facing difficulties to contact them immediately. The aftermath of the strikes in Iran left the world on edge as concerns of a potentially dangerous escalation of a fast-widening Middle East conflict continue to rise.
How has the world economy reacted?
There are concerns that a worsening conflict in the Middle East could disrupt oil supplies. Brent crude, the international benchmark for oil prices, rose by 1.8% to $88 a barrel after the attack. Oil prices had jumped by as much as 3.5% initially, but the price stabilized when it became clearer the strike was limited. The price of gold, which is often seen as a safe investment at times of uncertainty, briefly came close to a record high before falling back to nearly $2,400 an ounce.
What has Iran said so far?
Explosions echoed over an Iranian city on Friday in what sources said was an Israeli attack, but Tehran played down the incident and indicated it had no plans for retaliation, a response that appeared towards averting region-wide war. Iran's foreign minister said the drones, which sources said Israel launched against the city of Isfahan, were mini drones and that they had caused no damage or casualties. Iranian media and officials described a small number of explosions, which they said resulted from air defenses hitting 3 drones over Isfahan in central Iran. They referred to the incident as an attack by infiltrators rather than Israel, obviating the need for retaliation. A senior Iranian official told foreign media that there were no plans to respond against Israel for the incident.
What is Israel saying about the strike?
Israeli officials have yet to publicly acknowledge responsibility for the reported overnight explosions in parts of Iran. Israel does not routinely confirm its military actions, which have targeted Iranian-backed armed groups in Syria and Iraq on many occasions. However, US officials have confirmed that an Israeli missile did hit Iran.
What is the feud between Israel and Iran?
This latest strike comes less than a week after Iran launched hundreds of missiles and drones at Israel, an incident seen as a dramatic escalation in tensions. Despite its vast scale and unprecedented nature, Iran's attack was largely unsuccessful, with the vast majority of projectiles shot down by Israeli air defenses with the help of the US, UK and other allies. The attack on Israeli soil was in response to a strike against a building on an Iranian diplomatic compound in Syria on the 1st of April. Israel has not publicly confirmed it was behind the strike either, but it is widely accepted that it was.
Newsfirst goes beyond team of journalists working in a newsroom. The dedication of our journalists, we are proud to say, extends far beyond traditional reporting. For over 2 decades, our missions has been deeply intertwined with the lives of the Sri Lankan people. This commitment came to life once again today when we ventured outside the newsroom in Colombo and into the heart of a southern village. We celebrated the Sinhala and Tamil New Year alongside the wonderful community of Akmimana in Galle.
The Newsfirst Ruhunu Aurudu Siri celebrations were held today at the Kurunduwatta public grounds in Akmimana, Galle. The Newsfirst Ruhunu Aurudu Siri celebrations began with religious ceremonies honouring traditional practices. The Newsfirst team, government officials and village organisers were amongst those present at the inauguration ceremony.
This marks the first time in Sri Lankan history that an Aurudu festival is inaugurated by giving prominence to Buddhist relics. We hope everyone can enjoy today's proceedings without any hindrance. Thank you to all who helped make this event possible. May the blessings of the Triple Gem be upon you.
The celebrations kicked off in a riot of colour with traditional Sri Lankan dance performances.
අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා මේ තාත්තේ ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය ජාතියට අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ මඟ පෙන්වීම. Newsfirst අපි කරන්නේ ඒ කාර්යභාරය. අපි
We believe the Sri Lankans need to be told the truth, and Newsfirst is committed to playing that role. Our diverse team, though small, is united in the belief that Sri Lanka thrives on its inclusivity. Leading a nation astray is easy, ending up lost in the darkness. Social media's race for views and likes holds little value. Many play that game. We, however, believe in rebuilding Sri Lanka to its true potential. With this conviction, we take on the responsibility of guiding the nation forward by standing on the side of the truth.
මොන බාධක මොන අභියෝගාවත් අපි එදා වගේම අදත් හෙටත් ඉෂ්ට කරනවා කියන ප්‍රතිඥාව ඔබට අපි දෙනවා.
The Newsfirst Ruhunu Aurudu Siri celebrations included exciting games like cycling and races across the village, keeping the energy high. The festivities were infused with a touch of Sri Lankan tradition and culture with the inclusion of the Kavali Gamal. Group Director and COO of the Capital Maharaja Group, S.C. Veerasekara, also toured the Kavali Gamal sponsored by Eslon. The Kavali Gamal offered a delightful experience featuring Southern New Year sweets alongside traditional cultural elements. Newsfirst hosted its Ruhunu Aurudu Siri celebrations in collaboration with Yakmi Mana Pradeshya Sabha, the United Trade Services Association and the Kurunduwata Youth Buddhists Association. The event was further bolstered by the support of many private and government institutions who joined hands as sponsors. Classic favourites like tug of war, the unique Sri Lankan pillow fight known as Kortapura, and the blindfolded challenge of Kanamutti Bindima, where contestants attempt to break a pot suspended in the air, were all crowd pleasers. Participants also enjoyed the challenge of conquering the slippery tree. Contestants put their skills to the test in a variety of fun competitions, including placing the eye on the elephant, tracking down the hidden guest, weaving coconut leaves, and demonstrating their coconut scraping prowess. Nimanthi Prabhani was crowned as the Newsfirst Ruhunu Aurudu Siri Kumariya, while Hirusha Sandeepa was crowned as the Newsfirst Ruhunu Aurudu Siri Kumara. The Newsfirst Ruhunu Aurudu Siri celebrations will continue throughout the night, with popular singers lighting up the atmosphere, backed by the tunes of Sunshine. Two groups from Newsfirst celebrated the Sinhalese and Tamil New Year in different locations. One group in the south and another in the north. The New Year celebration, sponsored by Shakti TV, took place today at the Vaunia Urban Council grounds. It was jointly organised by the Vaunia Security Forces Headquarters and the Vaunia District Secretariat. The Sinhalese, Tamil and Muslim communities in the area came together throughout the day to celebrate the New Year, demonstrating unity regardless of race and religion. The Vaunia commander, Major General Dinesh Nanayakara, along with government officials and others, also joined the celebrations. One of the main goals of this New Year celebration is to promote harmony among the diverse communities in the region.
A documentary titled "We Will Never Give Up" was launched in Colombo yesterday to raise awareness about ghost fishing nets in the Sea of Sri Lanka.
The documentary "We Will Never Give Up," launched by the Pearl Protectors, coincides with the third year of a national expedition to remove marine debris from the Sea of Sri Lanka. The documentary highlights the unseen threat ghost nets pose on coral reefs and marine life. The director of the documentary, Hiran Daniel, made an introduction to the documentary.
Sea area is one area that I didn't come across in my mind to go and explore, because I always knew it's nice and blue. What I didn't know was what's underneath the sea. When I saw a few videos from Pearl Protectors, I was really shocked to know that there is a concern going around in Sri Lanka, and I thought I can help out with them to do this, and I hope this documentary will shed more light towards this issue. Those who have the privilege to know have the duty to act. So it's our duty and it's a must for us to act.
The screening was followed by an interactive panel discussion to discuss about the impact of ghost fishing nets, challenges faced by the fishing communities and the environment, and potential solutions. Several representatives from the IUCN, World Bank, Plasticycle and many other organizations were present at the occasion.
Let's now take a look at more of the latest developments from across the world on tonight's edition of The World Today.
The massive exercise to elect the 18th Lok Sabha began yesterday with elections on 102 seats across 21 states and union territories. The 2024 general elections are set to take place in 7 phases across the country, ending on the 1st of June. In the first phase, voting took place in Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Rajasthan, Sikkim, Tamil Nadu, Tripura, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand and West Bengal. An average voter turnout of 60.03% was recorded last night. Phase 2 of the elections will be held on the 26th of April, and the counting of votes and result declaration for the Lok Sabha election will take place on the 4th of June. A man has set himself on fire outside the court in Manhattan, where former President Donald Trump's hush money trial is being held. Police said the man doused himself in a liquid before throwing conspiracy theory pamphlets into the air. His motive is unknown, and police responded to the scene. Trump was in the building to attend jury selection, where he has had a security detail, but the former president left during the incident. Emergency officials said that court security had not been breached in the incident. The case, which had just completed alternate jury selection, resumed later in the afternoon, while opening statements are expected to begin on Monday. Croatia's constitutional court ruled that President Zoran Milanovic cannot take up the more powerful position of Prime Minister after this week's election, saying that the five-man leader could not head any potential coalition. Hours later, Milanovic dismissed the court's ruling, saying Parliament was the only institution that could decide who will be Prime Minister, though he did not spell out how he planned to challenge the decision of the country's top tribunal. The president has accused the court of being biased in favor of his rivals in the ruling Conservative Croatian Democratic Union Party.
The wait is over. Weeks of captivating performances, grueling rehearsals and the unwavering support of their coaches have brought us to this moment, the grand finale of The Voice Kids Sri Lanka. We leave you tonight with an update from Stein Studios in Ratmalana. Take care and good night.
ලාංකීය ගායනකරු රියැලිටි වේදිකාවේ එකම ජාත්‍යන්තර වරලත් සන්නාමයයි මේ The Voice Kids Sri Lanka Grand Finale.
8 remarkable voices, 8 unique dreams. Each contestant, honed under the guidance of their dedicated coaches, brings a unique style and undeniable talent to the competition. Coach Navani's team brings us the vocals of Netuja and Rashid. Coach Uresha's team is represented by Nimna and Sineth. Coach Pradeep's side boasts a dynamic duo, Aslam and Vinod. And finally, Coach Harshana's squad brings Situka and Sioth.
Tonight marks a pivotal point in the entertainment history of Sri Lanka, and that's exactly what you can witness right behind us. The grand finale of The Voice Kids Sri Lanka is currently underway at the state-of-the-art Stein Studio Complex right here in Ratmalana, which also happens to be the largest of its kind in all of South Asia. Now, 8 young superstars take on the stage tonight, and it's absolutely magical. So much energy, so much excitement is in the air, and this stellar experience is bound to sweep you off your feet right into a world of music. At the end of this evening, we will see the champion of The Voice Kids Sri Lanka be crowned, drawing to an end an incredible journey that was joined by so many young stars right from its beginning. The journey up until this point, however, was not easy. Thousands of buyers, multiple challenging rounds, and one target that they all had set their eyes on. That itself makes all these young children absolute superstars. Let's see what happens. Reporting from the Stein Studio Complex in Ratmalana, I'm Theruni Karnaratna for the Newsfirst team.
Pumbule mage pumbule Tara Devi pumbule Tera gannam pumbule mage Valira jagin pumbule Tara Devi pumbule Shami ki Ram Sharanma Sunkaravannam Valija Rama Shami ki Ram Sharanma Sunkaravannam Valija Pumbule mage pumbule Tara Devi pumbule Tera gannam pumbule mage Valija jagin pumbule Tara Devi pumbule Sen genadi Ramata Ravana yudde awlannan Tuluwan nonatin vibhishana ravata Lankavat api allannan Tuluwan nonatin vibhishana ravata Lankavat api allannan Pumbule mage pumbule Tara Devi pumbule Tera gannam pumbule mage Valira jagin pumbule
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
රෙදි කලී වෙතින් හඳුන්වා දෙන magical moments.